Hawaiian trade winds, sky of endless blue, moonlight on the ocean, good food, good wine, and you.
Great chefs, Hawaiian style. Oh, great chefs, Hawaiian style.
Aloha, and welcome to Great Chefs of Hawaii. Come join us for a taste of paradise as the island's finest chefs explore Pacific Rim cuisine. This time from Kauai, Jean-Marie Josselin. From Hawaii, Amy Ferguson-Ota. And from Maui, Kathleen Daelemans.
French-born Jean-Marie Josselin, like many Hawaii chefs, doesn't let much grass grow under his feet. In 1991, he opened a Pacific Café on Kauai, and since has opened 3 more on Maui and Oahu. His appetizer is Ahi Carpaccio with White Truffle Vinaigrette.
All right, the first dish we are going to do is the Ahi Carpaccio with the White Truffle Vinaigrette and tomatillos that come from our farm. We have actually 5 acres of land that will produce enough product for our 2 restaurants. And so to do the Ahi Carpaccio, we are going to use sashimi grade on the tuna, which is the best grade, and you can see there is absolutely no brown marks on it. And we're just going to flat him up as thin as we can. Here we have, in Hawaii, we have a great deal of different type of fish. And we actually, for the restaurant, we have about 3 different fishermen working for the restaurant. And they go and get the fish and bring them here every day. The last piece. It is important to use the best quality fish for that dish. Then what we're going to do is to use white truffle oil to season the fish. And we over here use a little bit of cucumber curls and carrot curls for the garnishes. We have here tobiko, which is the flying fish roe. And this is a different type of tobiko. This is a wasabi tobiko, which is kind of a spicy and on the mustard side. And we're going to cut our tomatillos. Like I say, we have most of our product come from our farm. All our herbs, salads, different kind of exotic herbs. Because here we are in the middle of the Pacific, and it's very difficult to get really fresh product on a daily basis. So we decided to have a farm which is actually 100% organic. We can rely on all the time. At the farm, we're growing, for example, 9 different types of tomatoes. Those tomatillos, we use also white tomato, brown tomato, peach tomato, pineapple tomatoes. We have a big variety of different types of tomato. The vinaigrette is very simple. It's just a little bit of lime juice and a little bit of regular extra virgin olive oil and a touch of the white truffle oil, which is very powerful, so you don't need to put a lot. And a little bit of seasoning, a little bit of touch of salt, and a touch of pepper. So we are gonna put a little bit of vinaigrette on the fish. And then we are gonna mix the carrot curl and the cucumber curl together. Add a little bit of the vinaigrette. Once again, you don't need that much because the white truffle oil is so powerful. What we're doing is, first of all, we are going to add the tobiko. Once again, the tobiko is the flying fish roe, which is also called caviar, but it's really not a caviar.
This roe is flavored with the Japanese horseradish, wasabi.
And then to finish, we serve like a Chinese pesto, which is a mix of cilantro, basil, a little bit of ginger, and olive oil. We finish it with a little bit of opal basil from our farm. And this is our first dish.
At taping time, Amy Ferguson-Ota was executive chef at the Ritz-Carlton Maunalani on the Kohala Coast. Since then, the hotel was sold, a sort of ongoing pursuit in the islands. And Chef Amy is now designing food products. She knows her stuff when it comes to Hawaiian cooking, shown with Togarashi-seared Kumu.
This is a kumu, which is in the goat fish family. Fresh, came right off the boat. See why it's a goat fish. It's got its little tendrils. We fillet it. We're going to saute it with Togarashi spice, Japanese pepper spice. I see I did an excellent job of scaling. So you don't want your scale still on your fish, of course. But it's a very special fish here in Hawaii. First off, it's got a red skin, so the Japanese like it an awful lot, but it's got a beautiful flesh and flavor. And it's very hard to come by. You actually go out and spear these fish. So simply remove the pin bones using needle nose pliers. And you can see these pliers have pulled a mini pin bone. You can use tweezers if that's what you have at home. But whatever you do, you don't want to bite into a piece of fish and find one of these very fine bones. Okay? And then because this fish is of a nature to curl when we cook it, we score it. so that it doesn't curl up on the edges. And I like to season this fish with fresh lemon. And I meant to bring Meyer lemons from home today, but I had forgotten that. I like to season it with lemon, little either Hawaiian salt or kosher salt, and Japanese spice called Togarashi. And probably using, I'll look and see, sashimi Togarashi today. And Togarashi, this is a Hishimi Togarashi. We have House Sancho, which is another pepper. There are about 7 different blends of peppers of the same type. We're just going to sprinkle this on our Kumu. And that's K-U-M-U if you ever go into a store that advertises Hawaiian fish. What you ask for. Cooking a little bit of peanut oil, not a lot, because we're simply searing the fish. And since these are such small fillets, they'll cook very, very quickly. If you're in the kitchen right now, you'd really smell the spice coming out. So I'd like to mix the dressing. The whole dish is basically a warm salad. The kumu comes from our ocean, and our Pohole ferns that we're using as the base to the fish come from Waipio Valley on the Big Island here. Of course, they're found on other islands. Now, we've blanched this in hot water and iced it down. You want to make certain you drain it well. We're going to add to it Maui onion and Waimea tomatoes. And it's just a very delicate, fresh dish. It's not very difficult to make. You can always substitute green beans if you don't have fiddlehead ferns or the Pohole fern. Always use a sweet onion. If you're in another part of the country, use noonday from Texas or Vidalia's south. You use a Granite style onion that's sweet, so it doesn't overpower the fish, nor will it overpower the Pohole fern. And the dressing's made with a little rice wine vinegar, pickled ginger, sesame oil, tamari sauce. You can use shoyu if you prefer. You could use a mushroom soy. You could use anything that you would want along that same line. You could even use fish sauce if you prefer, because you're adding the element of salt, and that's the whole point.
The tomatoes are julienned.
Of course, these tomatoes have been blanched. And once again, that's a personal preference. I choose to blanch my tomatoes. I think it's very unpleasant to bite into a tomato that has a skin unless it's really not quite noticeable. So we'll toss the salad and then we'll dress the entire dish. So, all right. So as our fish is cooking, so we're going to make the dressing for our Pohole ferns. We've got garlic, pickled ginger. This is the light pink pickled ginger. It's a little bit of sweetness. Shoyu, or, I'm sorry, it's not shoyu, it's tamari. Sesame oil. A little rice vinegar. And I just can't seem to live without a little bit of spice, a little sambal oleg. And I add sesame in there. as a garnish, because you'll find it in the togarashi. And I think it's a very nice texture to go along with the Pohole ferns. We'll toss a little on the fern. And we'll see how our fish are doing, and we'll plate it up. Nice grouping of the tomato and the ferns. All the wonderful little tastes. The fish is flavored by itself, if you recall. Put the lemon and the togarashi on it. And now, just garnish the plate with a little bit more of the togarashi. Some finely cut chives, just to bring out color.
Another chef who got involved in the Hawaiian hotel shell game is Kathleen Daelemans. During the shooting, she was chef at the Grand Wailea Resort. The hotel was sold and she left, in fact, left the islands. Her theme with variations, especially desserts, has to do with low-fat items like bittersweet chocolate pie.
We are going to make a very low-fat, very creamy and decadent, quick and easy bittersweet chocolate pie. We're going to start off with the filling by using some firm, silken tofu, some fruit sauce, some pure maple syrup, some very good quality unsweetened cocoa powder, and a little bit of vanilla. We're going to combine all of these ingredients into the bowl of a food processor. We'll start by adding our tofu.
Fruit sauce is a liquid sweetener available at health food stores.
And our fruit sauce. We have heated our fruit sauce for 90 seconds in a microwave. Our maple syrup, our cocoa powder, and the pure vanilla extract. We're going to blend this until it's very rich and smooth. In the beginning stages, it will be very coarse. Don't let that alarm you. It will eventually become very smooth. It'll take about 1.5 minutes. This is a very great pie because you don't have to bake it. You can eat it an hour after you make it. This is the consistency that your pie filling should be when you're done. Now we're going to make our crust. A little bit of maple syrup, some canola oil, and some water. We're going to put our graham crackers in the bowl of a food processor and grind them till they're very fine.
Use low-fat crackers.
We're going to add our maple syrup. Traditionally, you use melted butter, but we're going to use canola oil and a little bit of water. We're going to combine all these ingredients to form our crust. When you have those unexpected dinner guests, you can whip this pie up. You eventually need to do it by hand, knead it a little bit. Then you're going to pat your breadcrumbs into a pie tin, like this. Then you're going to bake this 350 degrees for 8 minutes. You're going to let it completely cool, and then you're going to fill your pie tin with your chocolate filling. You can also add flavorings to this pie. A little bit of chocolate liqueur or Grand Marnier or brandy or orange zest. Your pie is going to need to chill for 1 to 2 hours until firm.
It is advisable to chill up to 6 hours.
After 2 hours in the refrigerator, you can eat your pie. Today we've decorated it with some banana slices, a little sprig of mint, some fresh raspberry, raspberry coulis, a little bit of cocoa powder, and a little bit of grated white chocolate just off the block.